What is going on, Jets fans? We are here on our way home from the green and white scrimmage, and I got my buddy Nick in the back. It's his birthday, and I brought him to scrimmage. How was it today? How'd you feel?
It was a great time. Nice seeing all the players. The boys were playing great. Love to see it.
Let's do it. So we're going to give you guys our biggest takeaways of what we saw from the New York Jets. Make sure you guys hit the like button, and if you were there today, comment down below what you took away from the most, because the storyline of today's practice was the penalties. It was not a good day for the New York Jets offense. I think it was 10-plus penalties. And we know that Aaron Glenn is preaching discipline. And there was a play where on 3rd and 17, they got a penalty, and Aaron Glenn ripped the starters off the field. I mean, it's not a good look for the penalties. But, Nick, is this a time to be concerned this early in training camp that the scrimmage looks that sloppy offensively, or what?
Not necessarily. We're still about a month away from the regular season, so I don't think there's too much to worry about there. You know, being a Jets fan, this is how we look in mid-season form. So if we work it out early, I think we'll be in pretty good shape come the regular season.
Exactly. This is where you want to get those penalties out of the way, but absolutely just sloppiness. And you're going there as a fan looking for some excitement offensively. There wasn't much of that. Justin Fields had a few rushing touchdowns. Good to see him be able to scramble. Isaiah Davis was like the star for the New York Jets offensively. What was your thoughts of Isaiah Davis? He trucked Michael Carter the second on a run. He also caught a really good wheel route from Tyrod Taylor. And another star from today's practice, 2 touchdowns from Stone Smart, the free agent acquisition from the Chargers. He's got natural hands, and you can tell that he is going to have some type of impact on this Jets roster from an offensive standpoint. Mason Taylor is going to be the tight end number 1, but Stone Smart, he flashed, and he had 2 touchdown passes caught from Tyrod Taylor, I believe. So he's running with the 2, so that's really good to see. And, you know, you're going to practice. You can definitely tell that Aaron Glenn was pissed off the entire practice, just getting in to the offense, grilling them every time the penalties was there. When it comes to the kicking battle, the thicker kicker, 2 for 5 today. Nick Folk's return, 4 for 5. What's your thoughts of Nick Folk being back, Nick? Are you confident in Folk's return?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the last time we were in the playoffs, we had Nick Folk kicking the ball for us, so it's definitely nice. We haven't had any steady kicking in a few years. It's definitely a great thing to see.
Yeah, and when you go to these green and white scrimmages, you're really looking for a rhythm, because they absolutely simulated a real game style for the first time. I've been to many practices, and the difference between a green and white scrimmage today than in previous practices is they actually are driving the field. They got the play clock. You can see the down and distance. And the first drive of the offense for the New York Jets with Justin Fields, they drove down the field all the way to the red zone, but they settled for 3 points. And then there was a penalty on the field goal, delay a game, and then that's the one that Nick Folk missed the field goal. But it was cool to see the Jets offense bounce back. Justin Fields, he was not looking like great today, but he also didn't look bad. And I feel like his legs is what stood out to me. He had a 25-yard scramble for a touchdown, the first play of red zone. What do you think Justin Fields can bring to the table? You're wearing a Justin Fields jersey. You're obviously high on Justin Fields, Nick. So what was your impressions, your first time seeing Justin Fields with your own eyes today?
Well, you know, coming from a 40-year-old quarterback last year, it's just nice to see a young guy at the helm this year. You know, Justin Fields is a guy, he got his shot in Chicago, he got his shot in Pittsburgh, but we'd like to see him succeed here in New York. He brings a dynamic, you know, facet to our game where he can run the ball consistently. For that, the longest rushing play we had from a quarterback was Sam Darnold against the Broncos all those years back. So definitely nice to see it.
Yeah, man, and I feel like Justin Fields yesterday, he had the best day of practice for him individually himself, and then 2 days prior, he was looking bad. So it's been up and down for Justin Fields, right? And I feel like that's what the storyline's going to be for Justin Fields. I'm not expecting him to light it up every single day, and there's going to be up and downs. And I feel like us fans, we're very reactive. When he's balling, we're getting really excited. When he's struggling, we're getting worried that he sucks. You got to stay even keel throughout the training camp process. We're still really early in. They're installing a brand new offense. Tanner Engstrand's a brand new offensive coordinator. There's a lot of new energy here with this Jets team. Want to talk about some wide receivers now, because there wasn't really a lot of pop from the wide receivers, and there was some injuries actually today. Xavier Gipson left with an injury, and I think Josh Reynolds limped off the field, and we know that this Jets team cannot deal with any injuries at the wide receiver spot. Garrett Wilson was not really involved today a lot. He had 1 catch for a first down, but that was really it from him. Malachi Corley is still with the 3rd team right now. Arian Smith, after being fantastic yesterday, he was quiet today. So what's your thoughts of the wide receiver position, Nick? Did anything stand out to you today? Because I know you're a big Malachi Corley fan, but he's with the 3rd team.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see the Yak team work his way back in with the starters. That would be great. But After today, I'm thinking maybe we should trade for Scary Terry. We could use
Yeah,
that
yeah.
second receiver.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I feel like, I don't know why, but the Jets are one of the favorites to land Terry McLaurin. I don't expect the Jets to get him. I just think it's a little unrealistic. But hey, you never know. And
Bring
now
those
Micah
Buckeyes
Parsons.
together.
Bring the Buckeyes together. But you look at the wide receiver room, outside of Garrett Wilson, it's definitely a concern. Tyler Johnson, Josh Reynolds, Alan Lazard, we shall see. After practice was up, we were in the VIP section, so we were able to see a lot of Jets players come up to us, and we were able to talk to Garrett Wilson. I took a picture with him. He signed my Garrett Wilson t-shirt, and I asked him, like, yo, Garrett, it's Richie, Jets Media. He's like, yeah, I know Jets Media. I see you on Instagram and X, and I'm like, yo, Garrett, you got to come on the channel one time. Jets fans want to hear from you. He's like, when we start winning and we win that Super Bowl, I'll come on. I promise you that. I'm like, all right, you can reach out to me on Jets Media. You're coming right on if we start winning football games. What was your thoughts of Garrett Wilson saying that? Is he saying that we're about to win this year or what?
He's confident. I love it. I mean, that's what happens when you're one of the best receivers in football. You want to be one of the best teams in football,
Yeah, and you can tell that he just does not want to talk if they're losing, because last year he had a weekly spot on ESPN radio, and all he had to do was talk about a misery fest every single week. So he doesn't want to set himself up. He's like, when we start winning, I'll be there. That's for sure. But Garrett Wilson is just the man of the people, man, signing all the autographs. Got to see Jamie and Sherwood as well. I met him last year at the draft party at MetLife Stadium. He was awesome. But at the end of the day, my biggest recap of green and white scrimmage today, it was really sloppy. And when you're a fan going to these things, you want to see the flashiness. You want to see the touchdowns. You want to see the bombs. And it was just penalty after penalty. And that's something that is definitely concerning, because the Jets were the most penalized team in football last year. And we're hearing Aaron Glenn preach discipline, and it's not translating on the football field yet. You can preach everything all you want, in the press conference to the team. And if you watch the mic'd up edition of Aaron Glenn that they posted, he's screaming, discipline, tempo, like he's on them. He's got a whistle. He's like on every single Jets player preaching discipline, but it did not translate to the field today at all. I'm sure that Aaron Glenn's going to rip into each player after this practice, but man, they definitely got to fix that, because if that goes to the football field, we're doomed. This offense cannot handle being backed up every other play, false start, holding penalties. And we know what the bread and butter of this football team is going to be, Nick. The running game, right? The running game is what the identity is going to be with Aaron Glenn's New York Jets, led by Breece Hall, who had a touchdown in the red zone. Braylon Allen returned to practice yesterday, and we talked about Isaiah Davis. I got a lot of high expectations for the offensive line, and we did see a shift of the offensive line today. John Simpson's injured right now with the back issue. Joe Tippmann slides to left guard, and then we have Josh Myers at center. What's your thoughts of the offensive line, Nick, and the overall depth that we're seeing, and what are your biggest takeaways you saw today from them?
It's definitely nice to see some second stringers get in there and actually be effective playing with the first team, so that's good. You want to see our guys healthy. That's the main goal, but as long as you got guys that can back them up well, I think we're in good shape.
Yeah, man, and Olu Fashanu, he was fantastic today, and Armand Membu was a guy that I kept my eyes on going up against Will McDonald, because that is probably one of my favorite matchups throughout the entire training camp process, is watching those two guys. But another player that stood out to me was Sauce Gardner. Every time the ball was thrown his way, he just got the hands on the ball, pass breakup. He had a nice breakup against Mason Taylor over the middle, and then Reynolds in the end zone. And then Mason Taylor had an off day today. There was one rep that I do remember where Mason Taylor sat in the middle of the field, and Fields led him to the left, and it was an incomplete pass, and I can tell Fields was frustrated. He was pointing to Taylor, you got to keep running. That's that route where you don't sit. You got to keep running. So there's a little bit of a miscommunication there, but Justin Fields and Mason Taylor, I can definitely tell you that's a connection that's going to get a lot of chemistry as practice continues into training camp and the preseason. So that's our thoughts here. Shout out to my boy Nick for being a special guest on this special edition of the Jets Media Green and White Scrimmage Recap. So that's going to wrap it up. If you stayed to the end of the video, comment down below a Jet emoji. We appreciate you guys. Hit the like button, and we got Jets preseason football a week from today. So we'll see you guys then, and let's go Jets.